Has my right honourable friend ever visited the signal box outside Shrewsbury Station? Is she aware that this is one of an enormous number of listed buildings which British Rail is expected to maintain as part of its normal operations? And would she agree with me that looking after listed buildings, and indeed running its own police force, is an unfair burden on an industry which has to compete on unfair terms with the road transport industry?
Mr. Speaker, I confess that a visit to the signal box at Shrewsbury had not been at the top of my heritage visits, but I now look forward to that experience.
Will the Prime Minister take time today to compare her travel time to work with that taken by the average Londoner? As she sweeps out of Downing Street, past those new Regal gates, with her bulletproof limo with the police holding back the traffic and the angry crowd, I reckon it takes her...
Order! Mr. Banks.
I think her travel time to work's about 90 seconds, and we'd all like that sort of travel time to work. Is she remotely aware of the terrible congestion on London's roads and the appalling state of London transport? Will she come out of that bunker at number 10 and for just once in her life go on public transport in London during the rush hour? Because I think if she did it just once, something would change, whilst Londoners have to do it twice a day.
Speaker, I don't think the honourable gentleman has his facts quite right. I live over the shop, as I have done for years.
Richard Page! Order! Mr. Richard Page!
Mr. Speaker, doesn't the Prime Minister realise that for her to insist that she knows better than Nelson Mandela is both arrogant and absurd? Doesn't she also realise that if she says no to the one single request that he has made to her and the international community, what she's saying to Nelson Mandela is, you're on your own, we're turning our back on you?
No, Mr. Speaker. I think the right honourable gentleman possibly takes his instructions from the ANC.
You take your instructions from Order! The Prime Minister made some comment, which he would praise it, please.
Take my instructions from the ANC, who believe in comprehensive economic sanctions, which we have totally rejected. Who believe in...
There's a point of order. I confess there was so much noise that I did not hear what the Prime Minister had said. Prime Minister.
Let me rephrase.
Order. This sounds awful. May I order? I ask the Prime Minister. Order. If an unparliamentary expression was used, then I say, if an unparliamentary expression was used, I'm sure the Prime Minister would wish to withdraw it.
I will start my reply again. The ANC believes in comprehensive economic sanctions that we have rejected. It
Order. The Prime Minister hasn't... Well, it sounds order. The Prime Minister must be given an opportunity to make a reply. Order. The Prime Minister said she would start her reply again. I ask her to do it, Prime Minister.
I have already said, only they couldn't hear me, that I withdrew the previous. I have time to start the reply only again, having withdrawn the previous. I have said that now 3 times. I have said it 3 times. An honourable gentleman cannot hear it. The honourable lady to reply, which I gave some moments ago.
Reply, you made a statement.
Mr. Speaker, may I put it to the Prime Minister that if she had just spent 27 years in prison...
As she should.
And...
Well, I've never heard the House behave in this kind of way. Prime Minister's question. Well, the Honourable Lady has a right to ask her question. Miss Joan Ruddock.
She hasn't said anything.
Order. I call the Honourable Lady, Miss Joan Ruddock.
Order! Order! The Honourable Gentleman must contain himself. Mr. Porter!
Would my right honourable friend accept from me that a gentleman came to my surgery the other day who advanced some mild reservations about 1 or 2 details of the implementation of the community charge? But what really concerned him is that he couldn't understand what the alternative was, and I was unable to give him that information. And I just wondered whether my right honourable friend has any information from Walworth Row which might lead her to be able to...
Order! Sit him down! The Prime Minister has no responsibility for what goes on in Walworth Row.
May I point out to the honourable gentleman that if the community charges are very high, it is the fault of Labour Council.
Order. Prime Minister.
Right? It is...
Order. Very disorderly. We must hear the reply to these questions. Prime Minister.
I refer the honourable gentleman to the reply which I gave some moments ago.
Miss Thomas.
Does the Prime Minister know that she recently scored 66% in a popularity poll in Lithuania?
Order. What's the question, please?
Well, she...
Mr. Worthington.
1990 started in January, and this is now...
Order. It takes up a lot of time. Mr. Worthington.
1990.
Order. This, well, it's to the detriment of honourable members who I will not be able to call.
This is now May.
Who's in charge?
Order. Well, order. Honourable members will know this takes a lot of time out of others who wish to be called. Mr. Worthington.
Why is it therefore
Leighton.
That there is only one member of her original cabinet left. the rather forlorn and semi-detached Deputy Prime Minister, why doesn't she consider sacking him as well? Then she could shout bingo. And if she were to take the message of the current public opinion polls and to go, we could shout bingo.
Order!
Quite such a light-hearted view of politics. We believe in having the best cabinet, and that's what I've got.
Standing order number 20 application. Mr. Frank Haynes.
Number 6.
I defer the honourable gentleman to the reply which I gave some moments ago.
Haynes.
Go on, give her a kiss.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Is the Prime Minister aware in the last few weeks she hasn't had a very good time at Prime Minister's question time? Have you, Ducky? But is the Prime Minister further aware that the teaching profession is falling lower and lower and lower because of this government's policies? Is she further aware that I have 2 daughters and a son-in-law in teaching doing a first-class job? It's time she got out of the Secretary of State for Education and Science by the scruff of the neck and dragged him out of those negotiations that should be taking place between the authorities and the trade unions to negotiate the proper earnings as far as teachers are concerned, and then we'll get a better education for our children.
Mr. Speaker, bearing in mind that all honourable members' remarks are addressed to you, sir, I thought the honourable gentleman addressed you by a rather endearing term. I believe I heard him correctly. I mostly do.
Michael Brown. Mr. Speaker, will my right honourable friend confirm that in the event of Midland Montague ever being given the opportunity of considering the cost of her government's future economic policies, they will never be able to say that those policies will cost an additional £50 billion of public expenditure per year?
Order! Must be the Prime Minister's responsibility. I don't think it was. Friend! That's order! Order! The honourable member's been here a long time. He must ask the question, which is of the Prime Minister's responsibility. She may answer that piece of it that was of her responsibility.
Mr. Speaker, can the Prime Minister tell us, is it true that she's resumed her habit of taking advice on economic affairs from Sir Alan Walters?
Sir Alan Walters is a friend of the family. I shall continue.
Order! Prime Minister.
With that in mind, Mr. Speaker, shouldn't the Prime Minister be more careful in her choice of family friends?
Really? The right honourable gentleman objects to me seeing family friends. He's getting worse than the KGB.
John Hannum! Haynes!
I refer the honourable gentleman to reply which I gave some moments ago.
Haynes! Order! Give the honourable gentleman a chance, I think. Come on. Haynes!
Mr. Speaker, sir. Is the Prime Minister aware that the figures that have been presented today as far as crime is concerned is appalling? Is she aware also that the morale in the police force and the various constabularies across the country are at their lowest ebb. Is she also aware about the fiddle that's been going on as far as aerospace is concerned?
Who's going to investigate?
How does she expect British citizens to behave themselves when the government go on like this? Is she aware?
I think two awarenesses, Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister has now had 20 major ministerial reshuffles during her reign. As a result, 115 ministers and whips have been sacked or disposed of. By and large, what was wrong with them?
Mr. Speaker, we've got a lot of good talent on these benches waiting to come in. My second and third team could knock the top team opposite into a cocked hat.
Maureen Hicks. The first question to a great new Prime Minister, sir.
Sit down, please.
Now wait a while.
Has the Right Honourable Gentleman found time to consider which of the policies in which he's participated over the last 11 years he now regrets and proposes to change? If the answer is that the major revolution amounts to no more than requiring backseat drivers to belt up, what bit...
I can tell the Right Honourable Gentleman one thing. There is one backseat injunction I won't follow. I won't turn left.